friends, I'm so excited to be here with you because today we are going to create a glass block Valentine light. So easy to do, so much fun. You're absolutely going to love this. So the first thing that I am going to do before I get started is I use alcohol prep pads, partly because I have a lot of them at my house, and the other part is I've just found it so much easier than a bottle of alcohol. So I'm just going to clean my block, and I'm going to clean my block on both sides. If I could do this without getting finger prints on here. And I'm going to let that dry a little. I'll hold it up just to be sure I have, oh, something on that side. Oh, it's probably a little bit of the glue. So this is the light block. It has a hole in it because it's specifically for crafters. However, my local I have 3 local big box stores. I have Lowe's, Home Depot, and Menards. But Menards is pretty much my go-to. And they have these craft glass blocks, and they have them in 2 sizes. This is actually a smaller one. So I think we've got that dry, and I'm actually going to do the front and the back of the block. And I also have, oh come on, little fairy lights that we're going to put in it. So I think I'm going to make this the back. I'm going to do the back first. And so I am using the heart pattern stencil. This is normally a big 12 by 12 stencil. It might even be bigger than that. And I just cut mine apart. And part of that is because I usually don't use the whole stencil. However, I do have a backup. I do have another one. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fuzz the back of my stencil. And the reason I'm doing that is because this is glass. Glass and metal are the 2 surfaces that you need to use your tacky cloth, microfiber towel, and fuzz, 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 fuzz away. So I'm actually going to pull this over here a little bit closer, and I'm going to show you how to fuzz. And so what I did when I cut this, I cut it just a little bit bigger than what I needed, because I decided that instead of going just on the glass square on this one, I'm going to go out, because there's kind of a border around it. So I'm going to go out across the border. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fuzz, and I can use ink because I can fit this in my oven and set my oven to 350 and bake it for 30 minutes and then turn the oven off and just let it become permanent, because I heat set it, okay? Not heat setting like with your iron, but I'm actually doing this in chalk paste because if I want to change this up and use it for another occasion, I just simply wash it off. So let's see, do we have that? I am one of those fuzz, 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 and if you're not sure that you've fuzzed enough, grab that tacky towel and just keep fuzzing, because it will stick and it will come off on your glass, all kinds of fun things. Now I'm gonna go, let's see, I want my top row of hearts really showing there. And so I'm going to go down, and I'm pressing around the whole block. This is an edge of the stencil, and notice I have that going just over the edge of this so it doesn't, okay. This made me a little bit nervous. The next one is going to make me more nervous because it was a brand new stencil. So I've gone back and forth, not really knowing what I wanted to do. my main color for this is going to be red, and I'm going to use Old Glory red. But I also thought, well, maybe I'll do the blended technique and use my raspberry and my sugar plum as well. If it doesn't look great and I don't like it, I'll just wash it off and I'll go with all red hearts or all black hearts. But I wanted to use both sides of it. So I am going to take my Old Glory red. Let's do that one first. And I'm just going to take, oops, gotta get a couple stir sticks out of it. I'm just going to take my stir stick and I'm going to stir that up a little bit. And then I'm just going to put red in tiny little places all over. Remember I said red was my main color. And there's going to be a lot of red. I'm just going to pull that over, set that on my tray. And then I'm going to take my raspberry. Oh, I have not used this raspberry. I usually take a toothpick and I go around the sealed edge. And I'm actually going to do this one just a little bit. And oh, you know what? I'm getting chalk paste on my hand anyway, so I'm just going to take this piece right here all the way up because this is probably enough chalk paste. And I'm just going to use this up off my cover. It's a foil. All your stencils, all your chalk paste and ink come with a little cover. It helps to keep them from drying out. And chalk paste lasts pretty long, but if you don't take care of it, it will dry up in 6 months. So have a maintenance plan. Ooh, get that down there. Put that there, and before I go on to my next color, I'm actually going to wipe off my fingers there because knowing me, I will get that on there. And then I'm going to go, that's a brand new one, and I know I have one, this one I think is already open, so I'm going to leave that. And I'm going to open this sugar plum instead. Come on. It also has a little barrier in the top that also helps it keep it at that yogurt-like consistency. So I'm just going to put some more pink in here, and I actually have a lot of chalk paste on here. I'll do a little bit more. I'm going to do a little bit up there. Okay, so I'm going to close up all of my chalk paste, and I'm going to set. Okay, that one didn't go on correctly, but I will get that later. And put all those, well, I'm going to set my red over here. So I'm going to take my squeegee, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come down from the top, and I'm just going to go straight down. Normally, if I was doing another project right away, I would just mix all these together. I put a lot of chalk paste on here, and I went just a little bit overboard on that. And so I'm just going to make sure that, yes, I'm wasting. I normally don't do that, but I didn't have another plan in mind that I could just blend these together, and whatever color it was, that was the color it was going to be. So let me see if I've got all of that. Come on. I'm just getting my excess off of there, and I'm trying to do that really gently. Set that squeegee aside. Whoa. Okay. Time for that fun reveal. So let's do that. And I'm just going to take a, this makes it really easy because it's right over the edge. And there's a hole in the bottom, and I'm just holding this just to give me a little bit of leverage on that. And I'm just pulling it up. And perfect. It looks perfect. I'm going to set that over there. And then, well, let's put the glasses on. Is it perfect? Oh, I've got a couple smudgy spots right here in this heart, but I can fix it. Not a big deal. It's also the back. So there's what it looks like. I don't know how well you... Oh, let's do this. Does that help you to see it a little bit better? So I'm going to dry this just a little bit, and then I'm going to go on and show you how to make a tulle flower. And they're super easy. I mean, if you ever want to make an embellishment that is way super easy, make it with tulle. Easiest thing ever. Okay, I'm gonna let the rest of that dry on its own. And I'm trying to get that really dry because I'm gonna turn it over, and of course, I don't want to have hearts all over my pad here. So I've got that. I'm going to move this apart. And I'm going to take, this is tulle. It comes in rolls. I buy mine at Hobby Lobby, but I haven't checked Amazon. I have the feeling you could find it on Amazon, and you can probably find it at other craft stores as well. So what I did, no, I didn't. Okay, never mind. This is for something else. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my tulle, if it doesn't fall, and it's very, very light. See how light and meshy that is? And so sometimes it gets a little bit hard to see what you're doing, but you're going to be fine. And so I'm stretching this out a little bit further than my table. Let's see, it's supposed to be, the length of your arms is supposed to be your height. So this is probably 5 foot 2 inches or 63 inches. Well, and 3/4. I can't forget that because, you know, I'm at that age. What did I do with my scissors? Oh, they're right behind me. Okay, so I'm going to cut that. Oh, put those glasses on. This is hard to see. I should probably doing this over something white so I can actually see what I'm doing. And let's see. Oh, I have another little piece that I'm going to need. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to fold this. I'm going to fold this in half if I can get that in half. Oh, it's hard to see. And the best part about this particular tulle flower, no tools. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and put this up on my hand, and I'm just using my hand as my tool. And so I'm wrapping this, and if this looks familiar, it looks familiar because it is going to be similar to making a pom-pom. So what I'm going to do, ooh, pulled that right out. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull that out and scrunch it down in the middle. Let me pull that over a little bit. I'm going to scrunch it in the middle, and then I'm going to take this little piece, and I'm using it to tie. And this is probably the most difficult part. Maybe it's just difficult for me because you have to tie a knot. And what I want to do is I'm tying this really tight because I want my ribbon to really pull in. And no, don't use all that brute force you have because, you know, tulle is pretty tough. I don't know if you can rip it or not, but I don't want to take the chance. So see these two ends sticking out? I'm just going to leave them, and I'm going to pull them down. Well, pull them down, and then oops, I want this one this way. And then what I'm going to do, I need to grab my wastebasket over here, is that I'm going to cut right across the top of this. And so I'm cutting. I don't know how well you can see this, but I want to make sure. This is so fine and so hard to see that I actually had a teeny tiny little piece sitting on my fuzzing cloth. So guess where it ended up? On the back of a stencil that I was fuzzing. So I'm going to do that on both ends. Ooh, this one's like really floofed out there. I'm going to have to do some other cutting because that's really way out there. I must not have pulled that last one quite as tight. And again, what I'm doing is I'm cutting, let me do this. I'm cutting across this right at the top, okay? And then all those extras that were a little bit longer, they're going to be cut off right along with that. Now, when you're done with your flower, which we're not quite to that point, okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm separating all of these little pieces here. And I have a lot of them. Okay, I didn't need to go 63 inches, but that's okay. This is just going to be a real, oh, I have a little piece that didn't cut, so I'm just going to snip right through that. Make sure you use really sharp scissors. If you're one of the lucky people who no one touches your sewing scissors, that is what would be great to use. Okay, now I may find that again as I go along. Oh, I'm finding a lot of it. I did not cut down far enough. Let me see if I can get these in. And I'm just going to keep, so what I'm doing is I'm just separating. I'm pulling it apart. See how super easy this is? Okay, cut down further than I did because I'm probably going to end up trimming this again anyway because this is a little bit bigger than I want it to be. So what I'm doing is I'm going right in between where all of those loops that I missed, and I'm just cutting them. So let's see how we're doing with our flower. Let's get these all pulled out. Now this is going to be a really poofy flower, which is fine because it's exactly what I want. All right. Okay, so you can see that I have some sticking out. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull it all up as far as I can. Do I have all my little pieces? Now, if I have pieces that are shorter in the back, I don't care. And what I'm going to do is go over my waste basket, and I'm just going to trim. Oh, come on. I'm just going to trim those edges again. So you can see, you know, as I pull down, I can pull down by layers even. You can see that I'm going to have a really puffy flower here. I have like one little, do I? No, I don't. I'm good. I'm good. I thought I had one. Here it is. I have two little pieces right into the wastebasket that didn't quite make it. Okay, and I have a funny piece on here that I can't figure out, but that's okay because I'm going to be covering that. And actually, I think I can make that. I'll make that the back of mine. So you can see that I have my little flower. And I decided that I was going to use my glue gun and hopefully not burn my thing. Actually, I'm going to pull this little thing out just in case. And so here's my flower. And you can see I had pulled that really tight. It's not all that tight. Have a few little scraps there that I can see. Do that. And then, of course, this is my front. And I'm going to take my hot glue gun. Have to have a hot glue gun. Low heat hot glue gun. And make sure when you buy your glue sticks, they're also low heat. Well, if you want fingertips. So I'm just going to put glue right on there. It's easier for me to do than to put it on the back of here. Oh, I have there we go. We had a little glue string there. Oh gosh, I have glue strings all over. And the problem with glue strings on this is that, so I'm gonna push this down, and see how it poofs up my flower? And again, I have several layers here because I did make my tulle really, oh, and I moved it with my hands. It's the one thing about hot glue. Okay, so, ta-da! We have our tulle flower. Super easy to do. I don't have anything in mind right now. Sometimes just when I'm relaxing, I'll just go ahead. I'm just trimming a few of these that I can see are really long. I don't have to do that. It's just me. Okay, so there we have our flower, right? And I'm just going to set that aside. So the next thing I'm going to do, remember I told you I had a couple little pieces that they bled. Oh, this one actually, this happened because it was over my edge. So I'm taking a toothpick and I'm just kind of scratching that off. This one that went over the edge on the bottom isn't that big a deal. It'll just bug me. And then I have another one. I know it's dry, but I just want to be sure. And what I'm doing is very slowly, I'm going around the outside rim and then just erasing what I have in the middle. Oops, there's a little bit that went outside the lines. Okay. So again, there we have it. So in the bottom of this, we have the hole, right? And I decided I wanted to put it on the bottom. And I'm actually going to cover it with my other tool so that I can get, oh, come on, let's just get in there. You know, I've bought a lot of the corkscrew ones on Amazon, but I think I picked this up at a store called At Home. And I tell you, if you're really into tiered trays, that's another place to go to find what you're looking for. Now this has a lot of extra down here. Ooh, see a little bit of that. And I don't want it to be all the way on my bottom, but I want it to be over here on the side, and on the bottom is the switch that's going to turn them on. Okay, so I didn't have the clear tape that I wanted, so I'm going with, okay, come on, duct tape, duck tape, duct tape, duck brand. Oh, don't confuse it with duck cloth, which is really duck cloth. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a piece off of this, and I can wiggle this around later. And what I'm going to do, remember making donuts when you were in elementary school? I thought that was the coolest thing to learn. And so what I'm going to do, this does take 2, is it AAA batteries? Where's my battery? Nope, it's AA. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stick this on the side. And the reason that I'm putting this over here is because I can cover it. If I wanted to, I could keep it out separate, but I don't want it showing if I put it on the dinner table or whatever. So this one is also about 63 inches, and I know I don't need 63 inches, but I wanted to make sure. So I'm going over this, but I'll still be able to toggle the switch on and off. And I'm just going to come around here, and I'm going to be doing this blind. Oh, I'm so not centered on this. Well, I have other things I can use with my excess tool. And so if you wanted to do, okay, it slipped off. You know what? Am I okay with it? I'm okay with that. I'm going to leave it. And then I'm going to come up here. This is when I could use my grandson or my husband to come and help me get this bow really tight. So there we go. And I did not turn the buzzer off on the laundry, and Kirk's upstairs. I'm sure he can't hear it. So I'm going to cut a little bit of that off. I'm going to cut this off. Oop, need to cut off a little bit more of that. I'm just going to set that aside. I always use my scraps. Save your scraps. It's amazing the kinds of things you can do. Then I'm going to take my glue gun. Put glue on the back. On the back, I don't care if there's little hot glue strings. And I'm just going to press this down. And I'm pressing harder in the middle because I want my flowers to poof up a little bit. Now, if you wanted to make a shabby flower for this, each one of these opens up and you just cut down, not all the way down to your star, but you just cut it a little bit and it gives it a little bit more of a shabby look. So, do we have that on there? Yes, we do. And of course, you know what I did? I put it on backwards because the heart is up here facing the back. I'm going to leave it. So now I'm going to take this stencil. This is a double stencil. It's called You Are Awesome to the Core. And it's got two different stencils with kind of an apple theme. And I think my husband's pretty awesome, and I think he's awesome to the core. So I'm putting awesome to the core on it. And then if you want to use like a 5x7, I don't know how big this is. Notice that I put these edges over. This is a newer stencil, and I wanted to be able to have a place where if this is really going to stick, I still have a place to pull it up. And you can do that with any stencil. And I just do teeny tiny in the corner. So I do have the back. What's really funny as I was looking at this today is my heart pattern is from 2021 and this one's from 2023. So, or 22, it came out in 22, December. But it's just so fun to go back and look at my stencils and go, oh my goodness, I've had that since 2019, because you can use them over and over again, and it's just, oh, so fun. But really, the peel and reveal is the best part. Okay, I think I fuzzed this for a while this morning because I knew it was going to be needing that, and I can see. Ooh, okay, I'm glad I have another. I can see what happened is that I have another hot glue string there. So now, of course, I have my fingerprints on this, and I don't want that showing. So I'm just going to really lightly go over that. You can tell I have pets because I can see one little dog hair in there. They're being quiet today. I can't believe it. Not quite liking how I can adjust my lights later. I'm not going to worry so much about that. And I'm just going to kind of air dry this a little bit so we don't have to sit here so long waiting for it. Let's see. Let's see, is that dry? Check on those outer pieces. Okay. So again, I'm taking my You Are Awesome stencil. Oh, I can't wait to see how this turns out. And I'm going to put that in the center. And on this one, I really am, because I want this to really be the stick out point. And I'm going to use my Old Glory Red. There is a candy apple red as well. And you know, it's your preference of the color red. Oh, here I have a squeegee. It really just makes a difference of like, what kind of red do you like? I happen to like the Old Glory Red better. That's just me. A lot of people use this only for like the 4th of July, and I do have both colors, but this is my preferred. And I can see I had a little bit of fuzz still on there, but I'm not going to worry about it because, again, chalk base, I can wash it off. And I think it affected one part of my stencil. We'll see. It looks like my O may have leaked just a little. Oh no, that's the way the O goes. Silly me. Oh. Yes. I'm so excited about this. I'm going to dry this up and I will show it to you. And I'll also turn the lights on. Oops, I was going to turn the lights on. Come on, Lynn. Think about what you're doing. Okay. Oh, check it out. Do you love it? Do you absolutely love it? I do. I'm ecstatic about it. Now, if you wanted it to shine through more, I could clear coat this. When I clear coat glass, because I don't want it to have that fuzzy look, so if I just used my 2X clear coat from Rust-Oleum, it's gonna leave like a satin sheen. I don't want that. So I discovered Duplicolor, and this is actually an auto paint. I purchased mine on Amazon, but I know your local auto stores will probably carry it as well. This one is, it just says acrylic lacquer, and it's a protective gloss finish. They come in black and blue, and honestly, I haven't seen the difference. So if I wanted to, and I wanted this to be permanent, follow the directions on here, because you can't just like haphazardly. You have to be very careful, and it takes 2 to 3 coats. So what I could do, if this wasn't shining through enough, I could go ahead and paint or spray paint the back of this white, and then go ahead and do the duplicate color. Obviously, you would not have your ribbon and your lights on this already. So I don't think I showed you the back side with the lights. So there's the back side with the lights. I have to play with those lights. I have one big area that doesn't have exactly what I want. And then there's the front. How is that? I love it. Oh my gosh. I am so excited about this. I did a larger glass block, which you can fit a 5x7 on. This one, not so much. And actually that's why I used You're Awesome to the Core, because another 5x7 stencil that I wanted to use was just too big. So again, this is the first one that I made. A little one, I've made the larger one. I did that for Christmas, and I actually had that outside. The only thing I didn't like about it is that everything else outside is set on a timer, but you can't set this on the timer. So when it was like really, really cold, I had to go outside and flick the switch. That was not fun. I could have left it all night, but then they'll burn out faster. So there you go. Duplicolor on glass, and this can be on any glass surface you want, as long as, actually, I have to look this one up because this is a lacquer. It may be possible to use this on glasses and mugs that you would drink from, but I'm not positive. So I'm going to look that up. I'm very into food safety. You know that home ec background, food safety is always big. And for this, it's not going to matter if I decide to do that. But again, if you're putting anything at all, make sure it's food safe. And a lot of things that say food safe are not actually food safe. So, or dishwasher safe. That doesn't mean they're food safe. So really check and do your research. I know lacquer is one of them, but you have to let it sit for 30 days before anybody uses that. And I would recommend, if you had something like this outside and you did have it clear coated and it gets dirty, you can just wipe it with a damp rag and it'll be fine. So until next time, it's time to say adios and happy crafting. I can't wait to see you again. See you later. Bye.